Hey, tonight on Red Eye.
Coming up on Red Eye, what presidents should be honored on President's Day? The new study shows Americans pick Palmer, Marshall, and Beck. And what happens to spaghetti as it nears the center of a black hole? The segment gets stretched too thin. Next. And finally, is the vice president upset that he blew his life savings on Candy Crush?
If I hear one more time, I don't have enough money to pay my electric bill, I'm going to strangle somebody. I'm not joking.
None of these stories on Red Eye tonight.
And now, let's welcome our guests. Well, like a urine sample, she's hot and in glasses. I'm here tonight with National Review reporter Katherine Timpf. Well, she was Miss New York. Now she's just a girl who keeps telling you she was Miss New York. Yes, it's all downhill for Joanne, aging quickly, Nosuchinsky. And he's the answer to the trivia question, what do you get if you cross no personality with a really ugly sweater? It's TV's Andy Levy. Yeah. And like a vending machine, you just pull his knob and he'll offer you chuckles. It's writer and comedian Joe Randazzo. He's the former editor of The Onion.
A-Block. The lead. That's the first story.
Danish police killed a man after he randomly shot up a free speech event in Copenhagen and then randomly attacked a synagogue on Saturday. The Associated Press randomly identified the man as a 22-year-old Omar Abdul Hamid El Hussein, probably Cuban, and Danish authorities say he has a history of gang violence and may have been inspired by the Charlie Hebdo massacre. But as always, the motives are unclear. What a picture.
I could hear the gunshots approaching, so I thought the gunman must be already in the building. I could hear Arabic and the shouts, Allahu Akbar.
Meanwhile, in completely unrelated news, ISIS released video showing the random beheadings of 21 Christian Egyptians, sparking a wave of Egyptian airstrikes against ISIS locations in Libya. And former NBA great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar appeared on something called Morning Joe, which I believe is a sex act, where he explained that groups that use religion to justify their horrific actions shouldn't be seen as true representatives of that religion.
You can make parallels to things that have happened here in America, like the Ku Klux Klan saying that they are the Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and they do not practice Christianity.
Right.
Any of us are familiar with.
All right, Joe. Who knew that in 2015 the riskiest job in the world is cartoonist? Are you glad to be out of The Onion?
I'm glad to be out of the cartooning game.
Yes, yes. Exactly.
I mean, for years I was going after the Kathy artist.
Yes.
She was always my personal vendetta. But I think somebody did wind up chopping her head off.
Kathy Guisite?
I don't know what her name was. I never bothered to learn her name. Call her the Ack Lady.
Do you know what? I kind of liked her, but I was more of a fan of For Better or Worse.
Oh, yeah?
Remember that?
Yeah.
That was good. She always had a weird boyfriend.
Yeah, I think that was one of the ones that I did not read, like Prince Valiant and Apartment 4H or whatever,
Yes.
the like boring ones.
Yeah, those were
better or worse.
The Mary Worth. It was in the Mary Worth ghetto.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Slightly below Funky Winkerbean. We have gone off the rails on this. I want to ask you, though, how does the West deal with these attacks on free speech? How do we deal with ISIS? Because it always seems like it's so far away that we really don't care.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the answer for an attack on free speech is just always more free speech.
Mm-hmm.
If you allow it to sort of impinge upon what you think you can joke about or talk about, then I think the message that they're trying to send comes in loud and clear.
Fair point. Katherine, thoughts on this? It looks like evil had a great weekend.
Right, well, it's just a bunch of random people attacking random things, kind of like how Hitler randomly killed all those random people in the Holocaust. Is so crazy. No, this basketball player, right, saying it's not about religion, it's about them trying to get money and power. And then he talks about 9/11. Does he not realize that the 9/11 attackers don't have any money or power because they blew themselves up? It's like, use context clues, people. I don't know if they learned about context clues in, like, 2nd grade.
Yeah.
But that's what those are for. So that might be able to help people figure it out a little bit.
I did not learn about context clues.
Context clues? To learn to read?
No.
I never learned how
How old? I was born in 1964.
Context
Yeah.
clues? So if there's a word around it. And...
Man.
I know that's old. But I look so youthful, don't I? It's a lot of the
you look great.
I do a lot of exercise, facial exercises,
Yeah.
Joanne. What's going on with your face? Jono, what do you make of Kareem's thoughts? Do you agree with Catherine?
I still just, how, he wrote a children's book?
Yes, he did.
I'm still trying to get over that.
Everybody writes a children's book. It's part of your life.
I think he was on Morning Joe to talk about his children's
talking about the KKK.
And somehow he gets into this discussion, so the parents who are watching are now confused. The one bright spot in this tragic event, if there even is one, is the fact that after the shooting happened during this free speech event, a bunch of them continued their discussion. Because if they don't, then the terrorists win. Like you said, like more free speech is the best way to combat this. So I do think that there are some people who will continue to do what they're doing and express those freedoms, and that's awesome.
It is awesome. Good for you. Yeah. Andy, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said the only solution at this point is mass migration to Israel.
Yeah.
When are you leaving?
I know you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Finally.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, Netanyahu, or Bibi as I call him,
yes.
He's in the middle of a political campaign. I think what he said was mostly for internal consumption in Israel. That said, the subject has been coming up at the meetings lately.
Right.
And it hasn't for a long time. So, you know, it's something we haven't seen in a while. Mm-hmm. But look, there's a fine line between needlessly panicking and remembering history. And I think people are going to draw that line in different places. If I lived in Europe, I don't know. I might be thinking about getting out because last time the people that didn't get out at the beginning didn't get out at all.
Right.
But you just kind of hope that that's not what's happening.
Big move, though. It's a big move.
It is. I mean, you gotta pack bags.
Gotta
and
change schools.
Flights are not cheap these days. Maybe you take a steamship. I don't know.
I've coined a new phrase that I'd like to use here tonight that I used here earlier. I think America suffers from ocean privilege. The fact that we feel that we are not threatened because we are impervious. We're surrounded by oceans. We have ocean privilege. So we look at this stuff and we know that these hordes aren't going to come near us, whereas there are 300 miles from Italy at this point, right? I read that.
I thought it was 500.
Well, it might be 500, but I think it might be 300. My point is, it's not our concern because it hasn't come in since 9/11. It's not coming.
Right.
We're not watching them come at us. And I think that's wrong. And the fundamental question, Andy, that the Atlantic Monthly raised, which I think is important, is how do you fight an enemy that wants total obliteration?
You give them what they want.
That's a good answer.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, all right. There you go. UFOs. He was gung-ho for a UFO. Outgoing senior Obama advisor and my former karate instructor, John Podesta, says he regrets keeping America in the dark about our extraterrestrial visitors. On Friday, Podesta was reflecting on the past year and tweeted, "My biggest failure of 2014, once again not securing the hashtag disclosure of the UFO files. Hashtag the truth is still out there." CC Maureen Dowd. Podesta, who also served as Bill Clinton's chief of staff, has long been intrigued by UFOs. Here he is in 2002.
I think it's time to open the books on questions that have remained in the dark, on the question of government investigations of UFOs. It's time to find out what the truth really is that's out there. We ought to do it really because it's right. We ought to do it because the American people, quite frankly, can handle the truth.
You know who else wants to know the truth? Podesta's cat.
It's time to find out what the truth really is that's out there. We ought to do it really because it's right. We ought to do it because the American people, quite frankly, can handle the truth.
Wow. Anyway, Joe, is Podesta onto something?
He's on something. I don't know. I'm unclear. Does he know the truth, or does he want to find out the truth? Because he could just tell us.
Exactly. But he keeps saying that when they open the books. I always like that phrase. It's like, so has he seen what's in the books?
Yeah, I want to know if he knows what's in there, and why not? And if he's worried, just like throw on one of those Groucho Marx things if it's about his identity or what have you. Because I would like to know now.
Yeah.
Don't tweet it.
I have all the
CC
secrets,
Maureen
but I
Dowd.
can't tell you. It's too dangerous, so I'm going to tweet it.
Exactly.
CC, here's this major media person.
I think he just wants to know.
I know. What's the deal with Maureen Dowd? Why is she so special?
I don't know. Maybe they're aliens together. I don't know. This thing made me mad because either he knows something and he's not telling us, which is unacceptable, or he doesn't. He's making it up, which is unacceptable. All for Twitter followers.
Yeah. I hate people who pretend to know something and they don't don't really know it. That's almost as bad as just lying.
Did it for the
Joanne.
retweets.
Yeah. Are you scared or excited by the thought that there might be someone else out there who's less attractive than you?
Hey, now, we don't need to see the paperwork to know what's really going on, okay? I'm a believer. I don't need the evidence to believe. I believe without seeing, which is what makes me a very special person.
Really? Wow.
But listen, why wouldn't we share all of this unless the government knows something awful and putting it out in public puts us all in jeopardy? If they're protecting me, I'm fine with that. If not, I want the juice so I can, I don't know, profit off of it, make a movie, star in it, something.
I think that would be very... On the Hallmark Channel with Kevin Sorbo.
Zuh.
I think that's where you're headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could just be that the aliens are really lame, and it's like, it would be a huge letdown if we all found out what's actually going on.
You know, I've always said this would be great if they were really stupid and slow, but adorable, and we ate them. You know, wouldn't it be great to eat the aliens? For like they're really happy and we eat them. Like they're kind of like little lambs, but even like lambs made of chocolate.
All right. Yeah,
That's what he's
extremely specific.
Well, like an Easter bunny filled with candy.
So we made contact, but then the high-level government agents ate the aliens.
Ate all the aliens. They don't know how to tell us there were aliens.
But we ate them.
We ate them all.
Because they look like lambs.
Exactly. Adorable lambs. Andy, we've talked about this before. Maybe they could be, these aliens could be so advanced, and they've used this metaphor in the past, that we're like ants on an anthill, and they're building a freeway right over there, but we can't see it because we're ants. Could they be so big and majestic that they're around us and we don't even know that?
They could, Greg, and I don't think your use of the word majestic was a coincidence there. If we want to talk about Project Majestic, Majestic 12 and all that stuff, MJ 12. Look, Podesta can say he regrets not releasing the UFO information all he wants, but if he had released it, most likely he'd be dead today. If Podesta had revealed the secrets of the joint NSA-CIA program called Project Sigma, which established communications with the aliens, do you really think he'd be allowed to continue to live? Do you think if he talked about Project Plato, which was the offshoot of that program that established diplomatic relationships with the Greys, or the E-bands, as they like to call themselves?
Hold on, Andy.
Do you really think he'd be allowed to walk free, Greg?
We have to go. They want me to stop you.
Yeah, of course they do. They always want you to stop it. Wake up, America!
And then at some point, this is all going to head back to one thing: chemtrails, right? Because aren't chemtrails the aliens trying to tell us what the government is doing?
No, that's what the government wants you to think.
I don't know. Maybe the aliens are disguised. Maybe they were disguised as devices. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know how to define
What
life.
if these cameras are actually aliens that have been studying us for the past 8 years?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, so would I. I think it'd be beautiful.
Yeah, I think
Shall we move on? All right. The bull tore him a new one. Bull? An American man messed with the bull and got the horns. Benjamin Miller, a 22-year-old, this is amazing, look at this, from Georgia, no less, traveled to Spain for a bullfighting festival, and it didn't end well. Well, it ended in his end. The bull bum-rushed his bum, injuring his back, thighs, and sphincter. I had to practice saying that before the show. The surgeon who performed the 3-hour operation on Miller said, quote, "It's not the worst injury I've seen, but it's the biggest goring wound I've ever had to operate on." Wow. Meanwhile, the bull wasn't done goring people. Let's take a look. You feel really bad, don't you?
That's awful.
Yeah, it was embarrassing for the bull, but that's on the blooper videos. If you ever watch the bull blooper videos, did you ever see that? Saget hosts it. Oh, you find them demeaning?
America's Funniest Bull blooper videos.
Yes, it's great.
There's a lot of China shops involved.
Yes, it's so true. Catherine, why do people keep doing this? They always say that they're not going to be the one that gets gored, but somebody has to get gored.
Right, 'cause he's stupid. I don't know. I feel kind of bad for him. He's got a lot of problems. He's really hurt. Plus, now he's got to be bull butt kid forever.
Yeah, he's never going to live it down.
What kind of brand is that for yourself? You know, you're coming out of college, oh, you're the bull butt kid. You know, what kind of job you get? What kind of kind of get well cards are you getting? Are people even sending them? Like, or are they just like, you're an idiot card?
But see, he's 20. This is what you do when you're 20,
Is
Joe. I think so.
It's not what I did when I was 20.
I might have done something like that when I was 20. I wouldn't remember it.
You as the bull or as the person?
I think I might have had a horn up my ass one or two, two times. Yes, exactly. Is it hard to have sympathy for this when you know that this is a risk that they accept?
Well, I don't know why we're spreading it around in the media, because the bull wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and how did this bull get radicalized?
I don't know.
What is the bull trying to get across here?
Exactly. So by playing this tape
You're
over and over,
encouraging other bulls to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but not all. It's not all bulls.
Well,
Joe, and
I mean, that's what you say, but every time I turn on the news and someone's been gored in the ass
This
with a
happened a
horn,
lot?
it's been a bull.
Yeah, but
Am I missing it a lot?
I'm not saying a lot of gorers aren't bulls. I'm just saying
Not all bulls
not all
are
bulls are gorers, is what I'm
Yes.
saying. Yeah.
I just wish the bull community would apologize for.
You know what? No, I'm just hoping for the moderate bulls. We're the moderate bulls.
Why are they
They're the
speaking
ones
out
who get
against
lost in all of this.
That's true. That's true. The moderate bulls, they need their Gandhi, Andy.
And is that doctor just sticking around to see a worse injury than the one? And he's like, no, this isn't it.
By the way,
This didn't do it.
he seemed like he was on site.
Yeah, they said he was. They keep the doctor
when
on
you're
site.
a gore specialist,
Yeah, you
where
need
else
to be
are
there
you
kind of
gonna go?
ASAP. I feel like you
Yeah.
can't wait in an ER for that.
I don't know. It's just natural selection.
But
of
yeah, look, I'm not saying I want this stupid
Yes, it
kid to
is.
die, but I am saying I don't care if he does.
Yeah.
Anytime an animal is abused, I'm on the side of the animal when it fights back. If one of the dogs Michael Vick used for dog fighting had bitten his head off, I would have been fine with that too. This is the same thing.
What do you think, Joanne? Are you attracted to men who travel and take risks? You probably did this for a girl like you, and then he comes back with a big hole in his rectum and you dump him because you don't want to date a guy with two rectums.
I don't.
No, you don't.
Again.
Just
I
again.
thought about it.
You went through that.
After that time,
Yeah.
he was the guy with two, and then I was the girl dating him.
Yes.
You know, my reputation was soiled.
It was. Many things were.
If you want an adrenaline rush, there are so many other things you can do. And I get it's like when in Rome, when in Spain. But in Spain, they have tapas.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they have
Delicious.
great, food and drink, and then take a siesta. That's
Yes.
exciting.
You're supposed to run in a zigzag line. I know that from Googling once. If you're gonna do that, Google it.
Yes.
And figure out the right way to do it first.
Yes, but you know what? You never know. You never know. And it's great. The fact is, everybody watches this so you could see the gore. That's what it's about. So he actually delivered. But you know what's great about this whole thing? It's one of the few activities where the regret is instant. Because you knew that the moment that it got close, he just goes, what the was I thinking? Now, my whole life, my whole world has changed because I thought that this was going to be great. That's the feeling you have when you're falling to your death. You're kind of like you're showing off.
Wait, how do you know that that's the reaction?
That's how I felt when I left my laptop on the subway.
Really? Yes.
Yeah, I did. I got it back.
Oh, you
I
did?
got it back because lost and found somehow. There was like the
Your
one good
nudies
person in
were
New
not
York.
on there anymore.
Nope, none of that. I had my phone with me, so we're all good.
God, that's great. Good for you.
I just want to point out, just because I don't like when we get facts wrong, he doesn't have two rectums. He has one giant rectum.
It's one time.
Do you know that?
Yes, yes.
Oh, terrible. We do wish him well. I have to add
Yeah, I
that.
was going to say, it is a human being.
It is a human, but there's a human. There's part of me that says, look, you expect this.
That's what happens.
No,
That's
sure.
what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, the bull's doing fine, by the way, right? I don't know.
Killed it.
Did they?
They usually kill him.
Do they really do? See, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Now I don't know what to
In
think.
bullfights, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Where does he go? That's a good question. Anybody know where the bull is? Give me a call on my private number. You probably have it. Just go to the chat room, gregsbull.org. What am I talking about? Coming up, children, little humans or giant insects covered in skin. We report, you decide. But first, college students taking drugs. Pulitzer Prize, here I come. Should education require medication? According to The Guardian, the paper, not my court-appointed sponsor, Carlos, students are gobbling up Ritalin and Adderall to help in school. The drugs, amphetamines mainly, although I wouldn't know, increased focus and decreased need for sleep, giving the users a leg up. But is taking a smart drug the same as an athlete taking steroids? Duke University thinks so. They recently amended their academic policy to ban unauthorized use of meds after students lobbied for the change. The dean says, quote, they wanted it noted for the student community that using drugs to enhance academic performance constitutes cheating. I don't like to talk about it, but I tutor college students at my home. Let's see how their studies are going. This is why I have a camera in my apartment, because when I'm not there, I know that they're actually not studying. And sometimes they go through my stuff, and I just don't like the fact that I don't know what they're doing.
That was studying, though.
No, they were doing great. They've been studying.
I want to make that clear.
I can't wait to get home for the pop quiz. That's so true. Catherine, since everybody is using these drugs, and not just in students, but people who work in publishing, in media, everybody's doing these enhancement drugs. Can you ban them?
No, it's great. You should be doing these drugs if they help you. Why not? Who cares? Just do them. I just thought it was really funny how every single kid they interviewed was clearly on a lot of these drugs. They were like, everything is just so stressful. College is so stressful. I have 2 very serious essays. It's so serious. Maybe a little too much of them because they need to relax. It's not that serious. But yeah, well, open it up, legalize it all. Don't ban it. It's not cheating to take vitamins, vitamin Adderall, vitamin A.
No, that's actually, Joe, in a weird, it's basically, okay, if you look at old school media, the performance enhancing drug was alcohol. Like if somebody was nervous before they went on set, they would have a stiff drink, or if they had a meeting, they would have a stiff drink, or they'd go to 3 martini lunches to schmooze. How is this, I mean, how is that different than this? I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Neither do I.
I don't know, man. I'm just like so chill right now. I mean, in my day, we would just, when I was in college, we would just drink coffee, we would stay up all night, we would pull an all-nighter, we would work our butts off, try to learn as much as we could, and then we would cheat off the Pakistani kid.
There you go.
I don't know why they can't do that.
What's the difference if people drink like 11 cups of coffee, which I've seen, you know, and then, you know, it's the same thing.
Go to the bathroom more.
It's worse.
It's great. You know, it was always no-dos for me.
Yeah.
Remember no-dos? What was no-dos?
Caffeine pills, yeah.
Okay, did no one see the Saved by the Bell episode where Jesse Spano got hooked on the caffeine pills?
I've never seen Saved
That's
by the
why I never did any of this in college. I would just chew a pack of Big Red gum to get me through. I don't know why.
There's nothing
What does that do?
There's nothing in Big Red that would keep you awake.
The cinnamon.
Cinnamon
burn.
is,
Really?
Did you have a friend that used to give you special Big Red
Wait, I was going to say that wasn't Big Red gum.
No. She ordered it from Mexico.
I must have taken a long time to get there, but it was worth it. Andy, is it cheating to take drugs for anything? I mean, life.
Yeah, no.
We take drugs to cheat life because it's so miserable.
I couldn't disagree more, Greg. I mean, as you know, I mentor a lot of college co-eds.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome. And one thing I always do tell them, because I believe in being moral, I say, don't get caught using these drugs.
Yeah.
Just don't get caught. But no, I agree. When I was in college, kids mainlined no-dos. And I don't really know what the difference is, except that society has decided that caffeine is an acceptable drug.
Right. That's all it is.
The same effect, except some of these, like modafinil, have fewer side effects. I'm not suggesting they should be using it on a regular basis, but I don't think this isn't a new problem. I think this only becomes a new problem when a writer needs to fill column inches, or a politician decides he feels like banning something, and then they start talking about it.
I thought this was pretty 90s, right? The Ritalin, all the kids on the Ritalin.
I know it's back in a big way, but you know, it goes back to what you said. It's all about who's first. Like booze was the first thing, so nobody liked the pot. But if pot was first, then it would be booze.
But those aren't the stimulants that's possibly getting you a better grade. And that's why people are concerned. Like, if someone who takes this gets a better grade than me, is that fair? So I think the best solution is no grades, no deadlines, none of this. Why are we living in a society that deems what needs to be done when?
I see your point.
I think if you don't have the initiative to take a pill that will help you do better. You deserve to do worse.
Yeah, you're stupid. You're stupid. By the way, this is like what you just said is you just described all of TV news. There's somebody that says, I'm going to get Botox or this person's going to get a better, my job. It's the same thing. So everybody shoots up their face with botulism toxin.
It's all fine. If you really care, you're going to get the Botox, you're going to take the pills, and you're going to have a great life.
You're going to have a totally smooth face. And you're gonna...
Maybe there's a problem with us encouraging children to take drugs in order to succeed in school. Maybe.
Maybe.
No.
I see what you're saying. No, I see what you're. I get what you're saying, old man.
Yeah.
You know, I think you need to loosen up.
Are you jealous because you don't have any of the drugs to take?
No, I got tons of drugs.
There you go.
But he's just pointing out that maybe children.
They're not children. They're old enough. They're
they
fine.
are.
It's just great because when you get older, the last thing is you want are drugs that are going to make you more awake and alert.
Yeah.
You want the exact opposite.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
I just felt like saying.
But it's also fun to get up and then come back down and just try to find the balance that you would have had if you hadn't taken anything. That's always.
That can be, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, a story we didn't get to on Friday, so we're going to do it now, which sounds somewhat newsworthy. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Tonight's sponsor is the Digital Stork, the baby delivery system for the digital age. This robotic bird will drop your baby off on your doorstep faster than you can say, "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Thanks, Digital Stork.
Should ROTC make like a tree? A student at Brown University, Go Cornhuskers, says the program is state-sanctioned violence and its cadets are, quote, criminals. Also, he wants it banned from campus, just as I predicted. Last week, Brown decided to partner with the Navy and Air Force ROTC, prompting junior Peter Makloff to pen a stupid protest in the school paper. He whined, quote, by outlawing ROTC, we have the opportunity to maintain a tradition of refusing to capitulate to the increasing demands of military engagement in today's global agenda. He could really write good letters, though. I could never write letters like that. His column was universally praised. Speaking of jerks.
No, ¿eh?
That's the greatest cat ever. He knew exactly what he was doing, Joe.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That was great.
That made me happy. I'm warm all over. Catherine, this guy sounds kind of like a jerk.
I hate this guy. He's like the capitulate. He said about the ethos. It's like, we get it. You've seen thesaurus.com. It's the most annoying thing I've ever written. Plus, he clearly like walks around with a little tinfoil hat on. The way he was talking about there being an ROTC was like there was going to be people testing tear gas out on the quad or whatever they have. I don't know if they have a quad or a quad-like area.
They might have a campus mall.
Or a campus mall. Right, it's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what happened to you, but it's not our problem, so stop. He won't have any friends, though, after this, though. If you look at the comments, nobody's like, thumbs up, because I read internet comments when I'm looking to feel sad. You know?
You actually scroll down and spend hours.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, why didn't do that? You hate me so much.
Oh, you're an attractive crier.
Yeah, thank
Joe,
you.
Joe, what do you make of this story?
Well, first I want to say to the filmer of the cat video, can we do landscape?
Yes.
It's time to embrace landscape.
It really is.
Critical video, people.
That's the main thing that I want to get across.
I think that's important. That's important. Any other comments about the story that had nothing to do with the cat?
I mean, this guy needs to just sit down and shut up and let the troops continue to protect our freedom of speech.
Thank you so much for that. Yes. Well, we can just end there. Andy, you served in the Army, or so you claim.
Yes, I do.
Why are these programs important?
I don't know. Nobody knows, really. No, they are kind of important because otherwise you have the entire officer class coming from the service academies, and it's good to have an officer candidate school, but it's good to have a mix.
I didn't know. That's a good point.
I think this article might be satire.
Really?
It's so poorly written and so stupid that is the easiest explanation. This kid goes off about military science. He thinks that means the creation of new weapons to help the military. As a political science major, I can say it would have been a lot more interesting if that had been about the creation of new weapons for use by politicians. It's not. He says he wants ROTC outlawed because he says, quote, half the battle involves doing away with systems of indoctrination on our campus. So he wants something he disagreed with banned from campus because he's opposed to indoctrination.
I think he's dumber than Bullbutt Kid. We found someone dumber.
He's either an incredibly bad advertisement for the educational system at Brown, or this is satire.
I think he's dumb.
Listen, it was very wordy.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes. A lot of the words I didn't understand either. He's just whining. He's whining about the fact that the number of liberal activists on campus is dwindling. And he can't deal with change. You know, some of us can't, and it's a shame. But listen, with his reasoning, then we should also get rid of Memorial Day and Veterans Day. But I think he probably enjoys the holidays and eating hot dogs by the pool. So, you know, I think he should quit while he's ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we trashed him enough here. It's a kerfuffle over a shuffle. A New Jersey judge, is there any other kind, has ordered gamblers to return money they won after playing baccarat. Is that how you say it?
Baccarat?
I have no idea what it is. With unshuffled cards, back in 2012, 14 people won $1.5 million at the Golden Nugget, that sounds attractive, in Atlantic City after they noticed that the decks hadn't been rearranged. The casino had paid the manufacturer to pre-shuffle the cards, but apparently it hadn't. The judge ruled that because of the cards issue, the game violated the Casino Control Act. Of course, meaning it was unauthorized gambling, and the gamblers have to give back all the money, or else, Joe, and this is the hard part, they're going to be executed.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm shocked that he's a hanging judge, as they say. Yes.
Well, it's nice to see.
It's a she. I'm sorry, she is a hanging judge.
Is that an insult?
I don't know. Yes, I guess it is.
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
What I want to see play out is them get that $1.5 million back from these gamblers, because this happened in 2012.
Yes.
You think they I'll just hold on to this money in case in case the judge decides that I should give it back.
They might have smartly invested it in things like tobacco stocks. Yes.
Or tobacco products.
Or yes, just any tobacco product would be a smart thing to invest. I read that today.
This does really annoy me, though, that the last entity that needs help is a casino for anybody.
Yeah.
And they saw the one time, this is like the greatest moment of their life.
Yeah.
That they caught this mistake.
In Atlantic City, the casinos aren't doing too well.
It's really sad.
Golden Nugget wants to hold on to its nugget of gold.
Yeah, but the thing
Is
is,
this Atlantic City?
yeah.
As if you're already not depressed to begin with if you're going to Atlantic City to gamble.
Whoa.
Then you win. Then you win. I've taken that bus, okay, and someone was smoking a
you gotta
cigarette
take the
on
train.
it. And nobody.
We're in a zip car.
Okay, fancy pants. But you know, then you're so depressed. You win, and then they take it away. They should be suing the card shuffling company for their emotional distress.
You take a zip car, Joanne, to Atlantic City?
I'll rent one. No, listen, shame on this casino, though, for being lazy enough to outsource shuffling.
Yes.
Yeah, is it that hard?
You're taking away all these jobs.
I know, and you know who's doing that job.
A robot.
Robot.
No, I was gonna say someone from another country.
All right.
But aren't all robots?
Oh, you were going to go the racist way.
Yes, I was.
Oh, sorry.
I was going
to blow your
I had a
racist
whole
punchline.
xenophobic rant I was going to get into, and I was derailed again by the robot comment. Andy, you're a degenerate gambler. You actually do gamble.
I do.
Which kind of plays into your lonely, sad existence.
Yes.
What's your take?
My take is it's the thing that we've discussed for a while now, Greg. This is why you don't have women judges.
Oh, yes. I forgot.
Yeah.
We did that special hour on Saturday about women judges, right? Right.
Yeah. It hasn't aired yet.
No, it hasn't.
But it was fun to do.
It was
I'm not even
amazing.
sure they recorded it, actually. Now that I think about it. I think, Joe, to get to something you said, I think they haven't let them cash the chips.
Oh, really?
So I think they still have the chips. Yeah, I think they stopped them from cashing the chips once they realized what was going on. But the owner of the casino apparently originally decided to let the players keep the winnings, but the players had to drop other claims they were making against the casino, and they declined to do that. So they blew it.
Yeah,
I don't know what your other claims were, but you had $1.5 million sitting there just take the money and run.
Yeah, well, that's another part of the story I chose not to read.
Well, listen, they went all in.
They did.
They thought
Well done.
Yeah, I'd be feeling
Save that
pretty
for
lucky.
a number tomorrow. You know, okay, when gamblers make mistakes, it's not like the casino says, okay, you get to start over.
Right.
When you decide to hit on a 19, I think that's how it works.
Blackjack.
In blackjack, thank you. And they don't say, oh, you know what, you screwed up, we're going to do it over again. But the casino does. They get a do-over. That's un-American. And you can read about that more in my book, Un-American, coming out. No, that's not true. Anyway, another 50 Shades story coming up. But first, here's that thing. Not cool. Order it at Amazon.com. Autograph copy, whatever. Back in a moment. But first, here's what's coming up tomorrow on Kennedy. Well, 50 Shades beat up the box office. Feel bad just saying that. The controversial film, I don't know why, which is based on the best-selling book Killing Lincoln, took in a record $85 million for the opening weekend. That's double what I make in the year, Joe, just so you know. Star Jamie Dornan celebrated by eating his own abs.
Let's reveal the Christian Grey cake. Look at that. Oh, my God. Look at that. That is great. That is, well, I was doing very well. Now I'm just tunneling.
Please, Jamie, it is you.
How do you taste? Better than I imagined.
Oh, is that cute with their accents? In less sweet 50 Shade news, Valentine's Day, 3 women attacked a man at a screening after he asked them to quiet down. They apparently hit him with a glass bottle. Theater staff had to wipe blood off the seats. Witnesses say the drunk women were vomiting in the aisles. I believe we have mugshots of the 2 of the women here. Oh, yeah. Wow. They do look familiar. Anyway, is there anything more we should add? No. All right, Joe. Did you see the movie?
No.
No? Did you plan on it?
I don't think so.
No, it's not your cup of tea?
No, I don't enjoy sex or erotica or reading or watching moving pictures. This guy, but all I can think about is this guy, Jamie Dornan, is in a show called The Fall.
I watched it.
Which is a fantastic show.
I hate it.
Thank you.
I've seen every episode and I hate it.
You hate watching it?
I hate watching it. It's so slow.
We're not doing this again.
Oh.
Yes, we did a whole...
I'm sorry.
You are correct.
No,
Okay,
it's...
a fantastic
I'm
show.
sorry. It's misandrist. It's misandrist,
You don't even
and
know
it's
that.
slow.
He murders women for sport.
Yes.
And that's all I can think of whenever I see him in the posters for 50 Shades of Grey in my room.
So you're saying he's typecast.
It's a weird choice. It's a weird choice for him.
Murdering women.
All right, I want to move
Only
on.
you really believe that.
I'm running out of time. All right, Kat, what do you make of this? Are you seeing the movie?
No, and I get really sad when I think about couples. That's their Valentine's Day plans. I don't mean that in a morality way. I mean that in like a kind of like, I don't know, honey, you want to try bondage? I don't know, like we're kind of bored. But it doesn't surprise me that like these are also the kind of women that are into cake.
Yeah.
The giant pieces
And
of
vomit.
cake and yeah.
I'm also into that, but you know what? I think this is now becoming a classist argument, Joanne. What if they like this movie? Maybe it's a good movie.
No.
No?
I want to judge
I think, a proper woman wouldn't see
Yes.
this movie.
No.
That's awful. Why do you want that in your eyes?
Stop it. All right, Andy.
Yeah, I'm hearing reports that this movie is destroying marriages, Greg, and I don't think that should be taken lightly. Call me old-fashioned.
Yes.
I don't think people should have these thoughts put into their heads. I really don't.
I'd rather eat my feelings, so I would be all about that cake.
Yeah.
I did kind of want cake when I was reading this, because I just reading about cake over and over.
No movie is made better by sex scenes.
But my favorite thing is guys making fun of this because they're saying it's like, oh, it's so stupid, as if the porn that guys watch is Mensa level.
Yes.
Also, you don't have to go watch
over a whole movie.
Yeah,
It's just a 2-minute clip.
Yeah, and even that's a minute too long.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Wow.
All right.
We'll talk later, Jeff.
Coming up, a story about weddings that will make you vomit. I.e., every story about weddings will make you vomit. Got videos, animals? Send them to us, foxnews.com/redeye. There's the arrow.
E-Block. Last story. That's the last story.
She's caught bouquets. Jamie Jackson of Utah, I guess that's her, allegedly grabbed the bridal flowers at weddings 46 times. She wants her feat to be recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. The current record holder has a mere 11, so she's like 4 times. 44 of the 46 bouquets can be seen here. She saves them in a china cabinet. Shockingly, she remains single. You got to have a hobby, Joe. This is a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope she's not allergic to flowers.
Wouldn't that be great
or
if she
love?
was? Sorry, I almost destroyed that. Yes, it's true.
She's
Where am I?
37 years old, and she's like, yeah, I knock over kids to get these bouquets. Isn't that cool?
Right?
Who's inviting her to their wedding? Who's doing that? Because she's like saying, I have a lot of musical theater connections. That's why I'm invited to all these weddings. Does that make sense to anyone else? Does that make sense to anyone else?
Not in
What does it
Utah.
have to do with anything?
When you're in community theater,
Everyone's getting married all the time.
Yeah, that's a lot
I don't know. Please explain, lady.
I'm 50. I haven't been to 46 weddings. I haven't even been to 4.
First of all, this isn't a record. I have caught 47.
Yeah, it's true.
So I don't like that. She says that for several years she worked at an event venue as an event planner and was also involved in weddings. First of all, if you're an event planner who helped plan the wedding, don't catch the bouquet.
You're not allowed.
What is wrong with you?
That's like, yeah.
God, that's so gross.
That's like a ball boy keeping the ball. You're supposed to throw it to the other people. Joanne, have you ever caught a bouquet, or is it normally just hepatitis?
no. The last 3 weddings I've been to, they haven't thrown the bouquet.
They don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you know what? Because they're expensive.
Yes.
So I think most of the brides want to hold on to it. I would if I spent that kind of money. But I guess if you've caught that many bouquets and you still aren't married, then a Guinness World Record is the next best thing.
Yeah, and it's good to have a dream.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you're not going to share it with anybody. and also it's great to have something where you can show it off. I like that. I think that's nice.
She definitely saw 50 Shades of Grey on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Are you saying that as a
Alone.
compliment? I hope you are. I compliment that.
The garter belt thing. Have you guys seen that at a wedding? Is creepier by far.
It's terrible because it always has kind of stripper music.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that.
It's like a little. I've
there's,
often
like,
seen little
parents
children.
And they're doing it in front of
Everyone's like, yeah, put it all the way up.
Dad's going, yeah, do that to my daughter. Yeah, take it off my daughter's leg.
Come on, don't be a.
I remember it forever.
That's the best part of the wedding.
Oh, Andy.
I don't know. Weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Fellas?
I'm more of a civil service. What do you call it? Civil ceremony? That's what I did.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know where I am at this point. So we're going to take off. Very special thanks to Katherine Timpf. Yeah. TV's Andy Levy, and again, in probably one of the ugliest sweaters I've ever seen. Joanne Nosuchinsky, who's still, look, there she is. She doesn't know what she's doing. And Joe Randazzo. Always a pleasure having you on. That does it for me. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I shall see you next time with different hair. I promise. Look at this. That's